Just get your periodic tables if you have them on standby. Excuse me. And if any of you all are on the replay, make sure that you have your periodic tables also and your calculator. All right. So this morning, I'm going to go ahead and start you guys off with this first unit here. And I know this is what we were on earlier. I was just doing a lot of copy and pasting so that it's easier for you guys to see these problems and we can kind of go from there. So that's what you guys see me doing right now. All right. So with these problems here that you guys are seeing on the screen, this is dealing with reactants, limiting reactants. And for some reason, this particular unit seems to give a lot of students the most trouble. And so I want to make sure that you all are able to go through these problems with a little comfort and not be so stressed out when you get to this part. So yeah, that's where we're at with this particular section here. All right. So I am going to zoom my screen in so you all can see these problems. And then we're going to go ahead and adjust accordingly. And if you all have questions, of course, you all can ask me. So for those of you all that are new here, my name is Professor TK the Chemist. I go live Monday through Thursday and in the morning and at night. So for those of you that have needs for chemistry, here we are. So let me go ahead and zoom in to our first problem here. And I know that this is one of those examples where this is going to actually, excuse me, simulate what you all will actually see in your classes, okay? So as you look at the first problem right here, let me zoom in so you all can see that, okay? And what I'm going to have you all do is to recognize what is given in the problem and what is required within the problem, all right? Now, let's take a look at number one. Now, I've been talking about this for a minute now. When it comes to limiting reactants, which also has to do with stoichiometry, so it's still a repeat of stoichiometry, you have to remember key things. Remember, when it comes to limiting reactants, okay? Limiting reactants pretty much means which one on the left side is going to be used up the quickest, all right? That's what we mean, okay? Okay, all right. You can listen to my voice while you get your cleanup on. So what you all are going to have to witness here is that first up, you need to make sure that you read the problem. Don't get discombobulated when you look at all the extra things that are given within the problem. Now, when you talk about limiting reactants, okay, and I'm going to say this again, limiting reactants. Again, which one of you is going to be used up the quickest first? That's your limiting reactant. You also want to make sure that as you go through your problem, that you balance the equation, okay? Now, here is the thing. If you look at this first problem right here, it says and we're looking at number one, if 1.72 moles of zinc sulfide is heated in the presence of 3.04 moles of oxygen, which reactant will be used up? Balance the equation first. Now, we took a look at this problem on Monday, right? For those of you all that were with us, and we discovered that in this problem, it is not balanced. That's rule number one. Before you do a reactant problem, make sure that it is properly balanced, okay? Make sure that it's properly balanced because you're not going to get the right results if it isn't. Now, sometimes your teachers will give you one that is balanced, like in number two, but you want to inspect it first to make sure that it meets all that criteria. So in this particular example here, it is not balanced. Now, rule number two, when we look at the problem itself, and we're talking about limiting reactants, and they're asking you which one will be used up first, technically speaking, this problem doesn't have to be balanced in order to answer that question. Because with limiting reactants, you have to look at the mole to mole ratios to establish that answer. The mole to mole ratios of what's given in the problem, okay? That's what you would go by. But for the sake of doing this example here, let's go ahead and balance the equation out. I'm not going to go through all the steps in terms of, how I got the answer that I did, because by now at this particular point, you should already know how to balance the problem out, okay? Because this is one of those things that when you get to this part of chemistry, your teachers are not going to spend a lot of time doing this first step, because that's going to take up at least 5 minutes of explanations. So just be aware of the fact that, we don't always have the opportunity to go through those steps with you, okay? So now, this problem is balanced, okay? And if you look at what's given, let me go ahead and write out what's given. They gave you 1.72 moles of zinc sulfide versus, in addition to 3.04 moles of oxygen. Now, within this given information here, which one of these is the limiting reactant? Well, again, based on what we already know, the one that gives you the smallest amount of information or the smallest moles, that is your answer. All right? That is your answer. So in this particular case right here, zinc sulfide is the limiting reactant. Okay? Zinc sulfide is your limiting reactant. All right. Now, we're going to move to the next problem because, again, that one was pretty straightforward. I don't need to really say much about that one